Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Najwa Solehah binti Mohamed Tarmizi with metric number 313148, and we will talk about the youth unemployment in Malaysia from 2021 to 2025. According to the ILO and ILMIE, the youth unemployment refers to the situation in which young people aged between 15 to 24 are without work, available for work, and actively seeking employment but are unable to secure for a job. ILMIE considers youth unemployment as an important labor market indicator because it reflects young people's ability to transition from education into employment and achieve financial independence. For youth unemployment in 2021, according to the OSM, Malaysia recorded youth unemployment rate of 11.58% in 2021. Although this was slightly lower than the peak recorded during the COVID-19 pandemic, youth unemployment remained relatively high as Malaysia was still experiencing the economic effects of the pandemic. Many fresh graduates and first-time job seekers face difficulties entering the labor market. Moving on to 2022, the youth unemployment rate increased slightly to approximately 12.2%. Despite the reopening of the economy, the labour market was still adjusting to post-pandemic conditions, and many employers preferred candidates with experience, making this more difficult for young job seekers to secure employment opportunities.
In 2023, Malaysia recorded a youth unemployment rate of 10.7%. Even though our national economy experienced a moderate GDP expansion of 3.6%, corporate hiring remained highly conservative, creating distinct structural entry barriers for fresh graduates trying to enter the workforce. By 2024, the rate decreased slightly to 10.5%. Interestingly, despite a robust 5.1% GDP growth, economic surge driven by the construction and services sectors, youth unemployment failed to drop at the same rapid pace as adult employment, showing persistent market frictions. By mid-2025, youth unemployment stabilized at 10.2%, which is still stubbornly high at nearly 3 times the national average. As our labour market transitions into a digital economy, government initiatives like Daya Kerjaya are actively working to bridge this gap. To analyze the trend, Malaysian youth face 3 key structural challenges. First, a growth disconnect where strong GDP expansions fail to naturally create entry-level positions. Second, a severe skills mismatch regarding digital economy and IR 4.0 demands. Finally, an experience trap that continually prioritizes veteran workers over fresh graduates.
My name is Nurfarhanis Syahnaz and my matrix number is 312221. I'll continue the presentation. So let's look at why young graduates face unemployment. On this slide, it highlights a persistent skill mismatch where academic credentials don't align with real-world requirements. Second, a severe lack of practical training with candidates with high academic scores but without the hands-on internship experience that modern hiring manager demand. Next, looking at this slide, we see weak linkage between universities and the industries, which leads to outdated curricula that fail to make students job-ready. To make matters worse, slow economic growth and market shocks caused businesses to freeze hiring, making it incredibly difficult for younger workers to break into the job market. Moving to the effects of unemployment, youth unemployment severely damages our economy. It drastically cuts labour productivity and stalls national growth because we are completely wasting skilled human capital and potential output. Socially, the impact is devastating. It drives youth into isolation and disconnects them from the community. Worse, financial instability forces them to delay major life milestones like home ownership and independence.
My name is Nur Hannis Azyan binti Anuar and my matric number is 312455. So, moving on to the solutions. First, we must streamline and strengthen TVET programs. By shifting to competency-based training rather than purely theoretical frameworks, we can bridge the industry academic skills gap. Second, we propose implementing financial incentives and recruitment subsidies. By providing wage subsidies, such as through social initiatives, the government can drastically reduce the financial risk for companies hiring inexperienced fresh graduates, effectively boosting youth competitiveness in the market. Next, we look at short-term upskilling and career matching initiatives. Programs like MyStep offer vital contract placements within the public sector and GLCs, helping youth gain essential soft skills. At the same time, platforms like My Future Jobs effectively reduce information asymmetry in the market. Finally, we propose geographic and income-targeted interventions. Since youth unemployment heavily impacts lower-income households in states like Sabah and Terengganu, policymakers must adopt localized approaches such as customizing training programs and digital infrastructure grants to help vulnerable demographic transition into the formal economy. In conclusion, youth unemployment is a complex crisis rather than an individual deficit in capability. Failing to resolve this issue triggers a severe scaring effect, inducing psychological distress and stalling Malaysia's transition into a high-income nation. Ultimately, safeguarding this employability of our youth requires coordinated action between public policymakers and private sectors. By executing these targeted solutions, we can successfully absorb our young workforce and secure long-term economic prosperity. Thank you.